Welcome to another episode of URC Chumps podcast. As you can see, we've got a new face here. Darragh, unfortunately, seems like he's crying because Munster's 0 for 2 in the past 2 weeks. Mario, how are you doing? The new guy. Let's say how's it to you first.
Nah, I'm doing good. It's cold here in Cape Town.
Yes.
Yeah, so doing good here.
And smoky, especially here where I am. And Jacques, how are you
Oh,
doing
so
in the far east of South Africa in Natal?
Well, first, before I say how I'm doing is, Andrew, this one is specifically for you. I know the Sharks won, but now you can see even Darragh, because he lost 2 weeks in a row, he's MIA. So please
And
off me for a bit. But otherwise, I'm actually doing good. It was a good week. Had a lacquer game on Saturday that I refed. Gave a red card, unfortunately, but it's part of the game.
Does that mean now you have to go to a hearing?
No, luckily not, because it was only for deliberate knockdown. It was his second yellow, so it had to be upgraded to a red.
All right.
And then tomorrow on the public holiday, I'm reffing another game. So yeah, life is good. Just hot.
Just so, Mario, so you understand, Andrew is a listener that I know who always comments that Jacques is always not on the podcast after the Sharks lose. So
I can see that.
But anyway, let's start off this week. It's getting some quite exciting at the moment, which is awesome to see. As you can see, it's 45 days to go until the grand final of the URC, which is... Jacques gone. He's frozen. And he's back. Sorry, Jacques, what was that?
I have absolutely no idea. I think my internet just had a strike for a minute.
Oh, I thought you asked ChatGPT who's going to play in the final.
That's your job. Not my instincts and my gut, my little knowledge.
As you can see, we've got our the 45 days to go. So, but anyway, this is the past week's results. As you can see, the only 2 teams to win away from home are South African. No one else was able to win away from home. I can't say the Stormers won away from home because we were at home. And so, unfortunately, or not unfortunately, luckily for the Lions, they also won. But yes, let's go into the first 2 games, being Zebra and the Bulls. Zebra and Edinburgh, shockingly, to a 25-all draw. Jacques, and he goes again. You see, now there's a draw. Finally, the whole season he's been calling it, and now he has internet issues.
What is happening?
I don't know, but you've been calling 25 draws the whole way through. There was one draw earlier on, and now there's finally another draw. Even though we both said
I don't understand. Like I put data on so that I can do this, and now it's just deciding to kick me off.
Yeah. So yeah, surprisingly to a 25-all draw. I didn't read much on there. I did watch a bit of the Cardiff versus Munster game. It looked like Munster left a little bit too late to get into the to get there, and it looked like they were just rushing to get the extra 5 points or so, and yeah, just couldn't get it over the line. But anyway,
wasn't Darragh at this game? No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. But hopefully he will send us a voice note, and I can pause the video here, put in his voice note with his picture, and then we can carry on. And now that we're back, then yes, the Bulls, for me, a bit of a shocking win, coming up 26-19 win over Glasgow Warriors. I was not expecting that.
They
Especially
played
away
good,
from home.
but I think the Bulls kind of messed up with letting Glasgow sneak in with that bonus point, which can
Yeah.
cost them later in the season. Okay, not later, at the end, where they could have ended second place and might end in the third place, which means a potential away semi-final, yes.
Yeah, and final, depending on the results. Then
Not
the
that I
shocking, yeah. Everybody freeze. But anyway, while we wait for Jock to return, the shocking result for me, in a sense, was Lions beating Connacht. Though I did speak to one of our viewers who was in town, and he said he saw them leaving the hotel on Thursday before the game, which was a
Sure.
bit of a surprise. The fact that you're going up to the high faults and everything like that, that I would have expected to go up because it's a completely different weather altogether.
I did see. I saw on Connacht's YouTube page, actually, how they were posting in Cape Town, enjoying Cape Town before they left for Johannesburg. But I think they
It seems,
underestimated the...
yeah. But I mean, especially leaving on Thursday. I mean, maybe a Tuesday or early Wednesday is when they should have gone up, but Thursday is pushing it a bit. But anyway,
Yeah, it's pushing it.
but the Lions did look a lot more on top of it than they have in the past weeks, which, I mean, they deservedly came out and won. But yeah,
Yeah.
while that game was happening, so was the Ospreys versus Dragons. Ospreys coming off on top of the game, which I think they needed their confidence boost. They've had a bit of an up and down start to the season, and it looks like they've at
Yes, that's
least
true.
finally getting on track. Then the game,
Yes. That,
yeah, you were saying?
yeah, so like the Thomas game, especially where Sasha is like he's cementing that number 10 jersey in the Springbok team at the moment.
No, I agree with that.
As a big
Now,
Pollard fan, it is difficult to see Pollard pulling, competing now. Not difficult competing, but definitely competing.
the thing is though, and I'm going to be honest, as much as I do love Sasha, last week and this week, there's been points where he almost becomes a bit arrogant or big-headed.
Yes.
Someone just needs to be there just to pull him back. I know one of Jacques' favorite players, Damien Willemse, used to play with his brother Raymond Samuels, and Samuels used to pull him back a bit in the game to help him to stay level-headed. I do think the same thing needs to happen with Sasha. Someone just needs to sit there and just be like, "Yo, bro, keep it up, but just drop on the attitude a bit."
That's true. But I think Rassi would definitely manage that. If
I
he
think
was
he has. Yeah, he learned his lesson after the All Blacks incident. The fact that he was playing with an injury.
Yes. Yes, if you've also watched this, that's Chasing the Sun, number 2. Or as he puts here, Eben and Dwayne in the room, they let them sort themselves out.
Yeah. No, he doesn't take nonsense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which is what we need in the thing. I think that's also what Wales is missing at the moment in their camps. But also, I mean, as we've discussed with another podcast, the Black Feather Fancast, is they need to look at going back to grassroots and building themselves back up, where Rassie has done that. I mean, you go watch some documentaries of South African sports, you'll see a lot of the unions in soccer and cricket and everything forgetting about the stuff at the bottom. But
Yes.
our unions in the rugby are actually reaching down to the grassroots and assisting the grassroots as much as possible. But yeah,
Yes.
what will happen with Dobson at the end of the season, we don't know. I've heard people having grumbles against him. He's been a bit hot and cold. I think the way he wasn't happy last week definitely showed out this week. That was a completely different side. But it also, I think, has made people realize that he isn't just a once-over coach, and there's still more left in his tank.
Yes.
But anyway, moving on. Before we talk about your team, Jock, settle down now. The fact that Leinster lost to the Scarlets. I mean, yeah, the Scarlets are a pretty decent side, but I mean, it wasn't a win that we were expecting. Yeah, I wasn't even concentrating on that game until I saw the results. But anyway, moving on. Sharks. What the hell happened with Ulster? That's all I can say is what the hell happened. I was watching that game. It was 19-5. I was like, I'm so tired. I'm going to go to sleep. Ulster's won this game. There's no ways they're going to let it slip that far away. I think it was 14 points up. And the next thing, I wake up and there's messages going, Sharks have stolen the game. And I'm like, how the hell did they steal the game?
That's kind of...
Sorry, Mario, you can go first. You're the newbie.
I'm kind of hoping it's like the Springboks winning the World Cup, always stealing it at the end. Let's hope it goes like this in the URC for the Sharks.
Yeah.
I had the same mentality as you, Coops. I was lying here in bed and I'm watching and I'm thinking to myself, I don't understand how. And I switched it off next morning. I saw the score and I'm thinking to myself, well, a win is a win. And when I watched the highlights later, I think it was Sunday. I still think Mapimpi can go steal golf clubs with Earl Rose there in Wellington. His time is up. So I'm actually very happy that Edwulf van der Merwe is coming this side so that he can just get rid of Mapimpi because he's over his prime. He's done.
I agree. Mpimpi's time is done. But I think I've actually watched the entire game because here towards the end of the first half, I did see some glimpses. The Sharks can pull it back. And then I watched the second half. The big missing link for the Sharks.
Sorry, just before you carry on. Here comes my question. They started off with the halfback pairing of the Hendrickse twins. Is that not a problem? Because it seems like there's a struggle in the halfback area until they switch it. And then when they switch it, then it's all of a sudden like, okay, cool. But now it looked like Fassi went off and Masuku came on and they left Hendrickse on. My thing is, if the Hendrickse twins aren't working, why are you starting them together? To be honest, I don't think it's a good idea. I think Jordan's a bit too quick for Jaden. Jaden's too slow. I don't even know why he's in the Springbok setup because he is too slow. And Grant Williams right now for me is literally the number one scrum half for me because he's quick. He does everything.
No, Grant Williams is the number one. I think he even outplayed Faf in the Springbok jersey. Just going back to the Sharks point, I think the Sharks really need to start more with Julius Cerezo. That guy is a massive talent they have and they are not using.
Why did we lose him?
every single match, and you can go back the last 3-4 games, whether we win or lose. As soon as he comes onto the field, you can see that there's a spark. He does something, whether he scores a try or not. The gaps that he sees, the tackles that he makes, he is, and I'm 100%. I agree with you, Mario. He is definitely somebody for the future. The boogeyman, like you say. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him.
No, he definitely has a. I think I would still like to see the combination of him and Ross together. Julie's on the outside with Jonathan Ross from the Stormers on the inside. I think that is a future center combination that we have growing in the back line. I mean, then we still have the likes of Sasha who can slot into 12, which leaves Pollard to stay at 10 for now. Also, Damian Willemse who can slot 15, 12, and 10.
Stop saying Damian Willems, sir.
I'm going to keep
Take
saying
that
because I
thing out
know
of
it
your
annoys you.
vocabulary.
Damian
Also,
Willems.
with
Damian
with the Sharks,
Willems.
is might be an ego issue there. The Sharks reminds me a lot of the PSG team when Messi and Mbappe was at the same team, where they also underperformed with all of their stars.
But that is something that I've brought up is they have all this money, they're buying all these high-profile players, but it doesn't seem like the chemistry is quite right yet.
Yes, so it reminded me of like the Heineken Cup final a couple of years ago, where Toulon was had all the money that Wilkinsons and those guys. They played the final against Saracens, where Saracens were brought basically from academic level up. So it was a team brought up against a bought team, and the Saracens won that final.
Yeah. But I mean, it happens. The thing is, you just need to find the right gelling. But then you say that as well. Then there was a year before with the likes of Bastero, Wilkinson, Brian, Bucky's, Pedro Vandenberg. What was the other hooker that came from the Sharks? He was playing. I mean, it was a high-profile team, and they literally won the double. They won the top 14 and the
Heineken Cup.
Heineken Cup at that stage. So, but then they had the right chemistry and mentality in that team, which is what I think the Sharks are kind of missing. I don't know. Plumtree's been on and off this season. I know there's been some things that he's been on and off with. And I think maybe next season could be the season that we see a different Sharks altogether. And we'll just have to wait and see. But
do
again,
you think the Sharks can pull off like a good team with all the disruptions caused by the Springbok players, where they have to go out for a couple of weeks, and then it's like the team is never playing together as one team? It's consistent changes with the Springboks in and out.
I think it's a bit of a yes and no concept. Like I said, it comes down to the chemistry. Also, what you need to realize is that the guys that aren't number one, who are behind the likes of Etzebeth, Sia, and all that, are learning from those guys. So they are learning a lot as they go along. Now, what we also need to realize is Sharks has probably the best academy setup out of all of the unions. I mean, for me as a strong Stormers guy, it is hard to say that Stormers have the best. We don't. It is definitely the Sharks. But also at the same time, the academy side is also not producing the right players at the right time, because you look at the likes of Evan Roos. He went to the academy. He played 1 or 2 games for the Sharks. He was literally like, okay, I'm done with rugby. And luckily he got an opportunity here at the Stormers, and look at him shining now. But then you look at the likes of the Peter Step Toy. He went to the academy. He came out. He was a great player until he came back home. Then he became a very extremely awesome player. So, I mean, it all depends. There's a lot more playing to it with the chemistry and everything, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, that's true.
But, I mean, as we can see right now, the Sharks have officially locked it in. As you can see, they locked in. Still in the hunt is Cardiff, Stormers, Scarlet, Benetton, Munster, Edinburgh, Ospreys, Ulster, Lions, and Connacht. And unfortunately, this week
Munster.
but unfortunately for this week, we see Zebras falling into the out of contention rating right now. And here's the current standings at the moment. Stormers, I think, just literally have to win the next game, and they are also locked in, along with Cardiff, because I know Stormers' next game is against what's that team? Dragons. And I mean, if we're going to lose the Dragons at home, we must be playing terribly. But
then you will definitely not hear the end of it.
Yes, definitely. But I mean, if you look at it, Edinburgh, I mean, I'm just looking at it quickly. The Lions, it's a little bit difficult for them, along with Connacht. 5 points will give them 40. That's still below the 8 mark. Edinburgh, if they get 5 points, are sitting at 42. 44, sorry.
I don't think a team like the Lions can still make it. They're on 35.
Yeah.
There's no ways.
But I mean,
it won't happen.
They have an outside chance because I don't think the
12%.
Cardiff Blues and the Scarlets is going to make it. They have 2 games in South Africa, and I think both of them is going to lose both those matches.
Well, that's what I said. So, Stormers literally just have to beat the Dragons. If they play like they did against Benetton, we definitely going to get 5 points, which puts us up to 50, which could put us at 5th, depending on what Cardiff does. And I don't see Cardiff winning the next 2 games.
2 games left?
Yeah, there's 2 games left.
I thought only 1. Whoops.
No, it's 18. We've got 2 games left.
Whoops.
But I mean, as you can see, Lions with the win has put them from 8 to 12%. For me, if you are below, let's say 40%, you're pretty much done. Which means everybody below Edinburgh right now is kind of out of it. I don't know why it says Cardiff has 34%. I think it was because they're playing away from home. But yeah, it's still open to a point. Lions need a lot of results to go their way. They literally need everybody above them to lose, and Dragons and Zebra to win, along with themselves winning, to actually go into the playoffs. But yeah,
my big fear, the big fear, if the Lions, with the outside chance that they've got, if they reach the quarterfinals, be careful. Be careful for the Lions.
I don't think give them yet.
They've got that little nudge to maybe just pull it, that spark, maybe to pull it through.
But I don't think so. If they reach the quarterfinals,
I have to say that to get into good graces with father-in-law. You know?
So if the Lions reach the quarterfinals, they most likely end up 8. I don't see them going higher than 8. That means a away game against Leinster, and I don't think that is one they will pull off.
Excuse me?
If
Ospreys can beat Scarlets, if Scarlets can beat them at home.
No.
So remember, this is the classic Leinster.
Oh shit!
This is classic Leinster. When it comes to the knockout, the semi-finals and the final of the European Cup, they put their B teams in. So the real team is for this weekend.
But now this is why, if you go look at one of our episodes early on, I showed the last 3 URCs. First URC, Leinster was on top. They didn't win. Second URC, Leinster was on top. They didn't win. Third URC, Munster was on top. They didn't win.
Yeah.
So right now, the stats say, though it's still early in the competition, who's ever first doesn't win. In fact, they didn't even feature in the finals.
I think this year it will be different.
This year could be different with the likes of Archie and Geordie and everything.
Geordie Barrett.
So I have been reading a bit of the Irish fans being a bit upset considering the signing that they made last season. And Donaldson needs to shut up because him saying no, that the URC is a weak tournament. Dude, you guys are crying because South Africa left, which means we are basically making Italy, Wales, Ireland, and Scotland stronger, because that is basically their own words that is happening right now. So
I can't believe it. If we look at Ireland's rise, okay, I'm not saying it's a certainty, but if you look at their rise, when Ireland really got strong is when the Cheetahs and the Kings started joining the Pro 14 back then.
Yeah. So you mentioning that, there's still rumors that whoever lost in the South African log gets swamped out with the Cheetahs next year.
I think I would rather have a relegation playoff because I think the Lions would beat the hell out of the Cheetahs.
I don't
They
think a
will.
relegation. I don't think a relegation game should be fair because don't forget now the Lions have had constant flow of rugby where the Cheetahs haven't. I think if
Yes.
you are lost, you are out. You have to rebuild the year before the next year, or otherwise the next thing that needs to happen is we need to bring back the Cats.
I will get behind that.
Yeah, so the Cats need to come back, and then they need to split the games. Either flip a coin and say half of these games are played there in Bloem, half of these games are played in Ellis Park. Split it fairly. Draw it out of a
No,
hat
man.
But
once you've
also,
reached.
Yeah, now
talking
you're
about
thinking.
talking
Now you're
about
thinking
that.
ridiculous.
No, but
If you
talking about
wanna,
the games in
Bach,
Bloom.
wait. You do not flip a coin to say Bloom or Ellis Park. You just go play it in Kimberley. In a story.
No, but going back to the Bloom one, remember, I've read now the Toyota Stadium has been downgraded, so they're not actually allowed to host international matches anymore.
Is it still considered international? Oh, is that why they also don't play it? What do you call it? That's all. But then they have to go to Ellis Park or yeah.
Mbombela.
Yeah, but that's
No, that's the
Nelspruit. That's
Pumas.
like on the other side.
It's here by me, so I can drive there and I can go watch there.
Yeah, but that's the Pumas. It's not the Lions.
Yeah.
Same difference, man.
It's like the Sharks playing on DHL Stadium. It's going to lose something for the Sharks.
No, it won't
Listen,
because half of the people
you know
moved
that
here
you're
anyway.
undercover Sharks. You know that you're a Shark supporter, Mario.
Yeah, but I'm talking for the Sharks. They're going to lose flair.
No,
No,
they
no,
won't
no.
because half of the people from Natal have moved here to the Western Cape, as long with people from Gauteng, Free State, Eastern Cape. They all moved here in Cape Town. I mean, look at yourself, Mario.
Yeah, we will
Yeah, but
sell season tickets.
Mario came from Malawi.
See, but he had to come down via the way. So there we go. The train came past there. But I mean, yeah, it is a bit of a thing that could happen. I don't know what will happen. Whether or not they go one season, and how it works out, we'll have to wait and see. I know we hear Frans Steyn is making a lot of noise for the Cheetahs. Like beforehand, there wasn't much noise from the Cheetahs. There's a lot of noise coming from the Cheetahs right now.
Yeah, I saw, but if you look at the SA Cup, do you think the Cheetahs can perform with these teams if they lost against the Cavaliers earlier this year?
You see, now that's the thing is, are they going to go and all of a sudden play and then be the knockout boys again? That's why I said, if they're not going to go that way where who's ever lost gets knocked out, then they need to look at bringing back the Cats.
Yes, because at least the Lions is not performing good, but at least it's 2 rounds out and they're still in contention for quarterfinals. So it's not a wasted season like Zebra and Dragons, for example, and the Sharks last year.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about last year. In the past.
For the Shark supporters, that year didn't exist. Unless you look at the Challenge Cup.
Thank you.
But anyway, talking about the Challenge Cup, we have the semi-final this week. We have Bordeaux hosting Toulouse, or Toulouse hosting. I'm sorry, I probably messed up the what you call it. And Leinster and Northampton Saints. I know I've seen reports saying Trocky wants to upset Nibal to show Nibal that he was a bit of a chop for leaving him off the Springbok squad. And a good old-fashioned French derby. Unfortunately, I'm going to say Toulouse is going to take this game. Even if it is a scrappy game, I think Toulouse is going to take it, and Leinster is going to take it for the Champions Cup. And then for the Challenge Cup, we have Lyon versus Racing, and we have Edinburgh versus Bath.
Mario, talk us through your predictions with Uncle ChatGPT.
Okay, so as Jacques said, I use my AI models. I have my AI page, so I go what they say. So let's start with the Challenge Cup, the smaller one. So they predicted a Lyon win over Racing
Score.
by I think 4 points. And then Edinburgh will also eventually scrape it through with 5 points against Bath.
But Edinburgh drew against Zebra. Or was it because they were holding back because they know that they have the semi-final coming up?
Zebra beat Munster.
The Edinburgh beat a good Bulls team also. So they have the glimpses where they are not decent. They're decent.
But they lost to the
Above
Sharks.
average.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Hey, a loser is a lose. Come on.
And a win is a win, depending on which side of the thing you are.
Yeah, so it's difficult. Edinburgh is one game good, one bad. I mean, they had a very good game against the Lions in the round of 16. And against the Bulls, they did good. But the Bulls came back very heavily at the end of the match, where they started losing their form.
But now, listening to what you're saying there, I do think maybe Edinburgh did put in a second or holding back, knowing that they have a very physical game this week, going up against Bath in the semi-final.
That's
Because
possible.
they know if they win
it's
this,
possible.
because if they win this, they literally go into the Champions Cup next year. That means they don't have to qualify for it in the URC.
Yes.
So
Yeah, and they won't qualify in the URC, I think.
yeah. Lyon against Racing. Lyon, maybe because I think they're at home, if I'm not mistaken. They could knock it. But Racing, if you look at the grit that they went up against Connacht, I wouldn't underestimate that team. And as much as I hate to say it, Farrell is doing pretty awesome job right now there. As much as
Yes.
My cat's even giving me the stink eye after that.
I think Lyon is a good team. I mean, look what they did to the Sharks. The attacking game is amazing for me. But ChatGPT, like I use ChatGPT, asked them for insights and do a deep research into that game, and they predicted a 27-24 win for Lyon.
So close. Okay.
Yes.
I'll see it being a close game and everything. Yeah.
All right, next. Bordeaux to lose.
Yeah, Bordeaux's going to lose. But close. 25-22.
Didn't you say Bordeaux's going to win? Wait.
I think they're going to win, but...
Wait. Let me check here. Your words were, where's Bordeaux? Shite. You did say Bordeaux's going to lose. To lose 25, Bordeaux 22.
You see, it's going to be another close game like Toulouse had against Toulon, where it was literally a kick at the end of the game that gave him the win. And then, unfortunately, I do see Leinster winning. There's no chance of Leinster beating Northampton Saints. Even though Northampton Saints is a strong side, I do not see them beating this Leinster side.
But the Saints
Augustus is going to run over. Augustus is going to run over Arceus Neumann.
If you look at the Saints Premier Division, they're not performing good there.
But they have won the Premiership quite recently as well. But I don't see.
Yes, I think it's. Yeah. No, I think.
I don't.
This year you will see. I think you're going to see DuPont against Barrett in the final.
Is DuPont even going to make it back in time for the final?
I think he has a chance. I did read that he might be back. I hope so. It will be a nice match to see Jordy Barrett against DuPont in the final.
Yeah, I would just want to see Jordy Barrett smack the crap out of DuPont, especially since the fact that, especially with the fact that he's probably not even going to be playing against New Zealand. Bringing that point up, which I'll get to the end of this, I did a comparison of DuPont to something else, which I'll say after this. But yeah, I mean, as it sounds like you're saying Leinster's going to win this game as well.
Yeah, I think they. I'm with ChatGPT. They said a 75% winning chance.
Yeah, you see right there. Unless everybody has the flu or something like that, I very much doubt that is going to happen.
Hi, Lovey.
Yeah. But yes, now my analogy, which if some of our people follow cricket, Ashwin is a great spin bowler when he's in India. But when he's outside of India, he's a decent player. Now,
Yes.
it's the same thing with France. France is an tough opponent to play against. But France outside of France is just a decent side that you're going to have against, come up against them. Which,
Yes.
yeah. And I think now with a lot of people singing DuPont's praises and everything like that, they're probably going to try and push DuPont to go to New Zealand, but I doubt it's going to happen.
No, I
But we're going
doubt
to have
as
to
well.
wait and yeah, we're going to have to wait and see. But I don't see a full strength France going to New Zealand. I know New Zealand were crying about the fact that they're getting a C team, which is ironic because South Africa feels the C team. Everybody goes, "Oh crap, that's a strong team." Whereas France is
Yes.
building a C team.
Who's watching TV?
Mario.
No, it's not me. It's people outside.
So yeah, I see that. I mean, good news for Stormers. I see Dion Ferry got his extension. Bad news for Stormers is, unfortunately, this week was Brock Harris's last game as he's got an injury, and they don't see any foreseeable time of him coming back by the end of this season, which is unfortunate. That Brock Harris had to retire on injury and not on his own terms, which is unfortunate. But a guy at 40, one hell of a career.
Yes.
Agreed.
1 year of long one.
Yeah. I think they said Andre Hugo Fenter was 2 years old when Brock Harris made his debut for Stormers. So, I mean, imagine that a guy comes in, been watching a guy through his whole career. It's like, hey, check, I'm scoring up against a guy that I was watching with my dad on TV. But yes.
As a long career.
It is a long career. I mean, all over the world. Well, not so much all over the world. From Super Rugby to URC or whatever was top 12 or Pro 12 or whatever was then. Down back here.
Pro 10. Super 10.
Pro 10. Yeah, something like that. And everything. If Brock Harris ever watches this episode, well done, Brock. It was a great honor to watch you through the years. Unfortunately, you didn't get that green and gold jersey. But yeah. But yes, anything that you guys have heard from this past week?
No.
No, it's just we saw Edwell is going to the Sharks. I saw what Jock mentioned it earlier. I think it's a welcome addition also. And then Curtly Arends says that the Bulls refusing to sell him. He's not staying in Japan.
And Marty Libok is going to replace Quade Cooper in Japan.
Oh, did they opt for Japan now? Because I know he was also an option for Ireland, some of Irish clubs.
Yeah, it was Leicester Tigers. That was the one that was interested.
Oh, Leicester Tigers for Hanne Pollard, yeah.
But I mean, I know we hear people going, "Oh," I know we hear people saying Japan's a weak league, but it's working for South Africa to have players play there and come back and still be strong as anything.
Yes, that's true. Cheslin did it, or is doing it still.
Jesse Creel, Arceus Neyman's done it. Peter Steps
Kwagga
doing
Smith.
it. Quacker Smith, Damien Delende. I think Vermeulen even did it. If I'm not mistaken.
The only
could be
player-
horribly-
Faf.
The only player
is
for me
doing-
who didn't work out was Ryan Kankowski. Back old Shark number 8. When he went to Japan, he came back softer.
Yeah, but at that stage, the Japanese league wasn't that great. I will be honest. It wasn't 100% awesome as it is now. I mean, at that same time, what's his name? Andries Becker was there.
Yes.
And in lineouts, everybody else was jumping and he was just sticking out his hand and grabbing the ball out of midair because there was no real competition in the lineouts. But I mean, it was still the funniest lineout I've ever seen. There's the guys lifting up this small Japanese guy trying to catch the ball, and there's Andries Becker going, "Thank you, thank you."
And as man of a
Yeah.
match performance.
Yeah. But yes, we'll keep an eye on a couple of the trades. I know trades isn't completely done. I see Stormers have signed a whole bunch of youngsters, which is pretty good. I know they are busy talking about the final sale of Newlands, which could also work in their favor, along with the delegation of the board. Now I see Murray's back into the mix because apparently he has supporters there. I don't know how that's going to go down. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah. But that's why I've been paying attention to some of the stuff. But also the fact that Stormers have actually been bought out by that Red Dizer company, I very much doubt they're going to allow it. They're probably still going to have a say who's the CEO and whatnot into the company or into the union.
Yeah, I think it's important to keep it like that.
Yeah, and everything like that. But anyway, fellow champions, I think it's time that we say goodbye and everything. Jacques looks like he's ready to go to sleep because his data keeps going on and off through the whole thing. Mario,
Been a long day.
Yeah, thanks for joining us this week. Hopefully Darragh's back next week so we can make fun of him because Munster isn't even in the okay, I can't actually talk. Neither is Sharks or Stormers. You see how
Yeah,
I
we've all
brought it
just
back,
watched this
man?
week.
Yeah, probably watch this week. I've actually got a new TV service now that I'm using that is awesome to watch rugby on. So yeah. But anyway, fellow champions, stay well, like, share, and subscribe, and let's grow this community even more. Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you. Thank you,
Cheers.
Anthony. Thanks, Jacques.
Bye.
Ah.